Hey, David here. Some ramblings. Not much going on here at the chess club. Thought I'd ramble a few thoughts about thinking, consciousness, in the game of chess. I had that interaction with James, the Athens versus Jerusalem debate, and I was talking with Church of Entropy on Facebook. I was mentioning how, what am I thinking about during interactions like that? And actually, I'm thinking about thinking. I'm thinking about the nature of thought, how people form ideas, how people make the best with what they know to process information, and largely comes from a chess type way of processing. Like I did a whole series of consciousness, and these models of the brain where basically people. The brain processes information where we have the prediction for what's going to be the high level versus the low level, the sensory information coming in versus the rule patterns that we've developed. Maybe some of them are genetic or inborn, or some of them that we've developed over time. And it somewhat comes from a chess type way of thinking where you have these analytical thinking where you have a branch of thought and the possibility to have a few different options, and then based off of the few different options that you have, there's a few different options that are possible, and then off of that it goes back and forth. And these tree diagrams of thought for chess, if anyone plays chess, it's obviously you make a move and your opponent has multiple different moves they could reply with, and then you could reply back with multiple different moves, and obviously it increases exponentially extremely quickly. So sometimes when I'm in interactions, I'm actually thinking about thinking, and you're relating here to chess. I put myself back on chess.com. I thought I could have been competitive when I was young. I was good as a junior locally. I competed nationally. I wasn't that strong. I barely made expert in high school. It was good enough to place top in the nation a few times as a youth, but relatively, the people are much stronger. So I don't know if I had a good mind if I would have been able to be a strong master title player. My brother had briefly tried to play in international master norming competitions, and he just decided it wasn't worth it. The reward for being good at chess. But I like the game. I like coaching. Obviously, it's very satisfying here that the kids here are state champions year after year, go on to do good. That's when we got the Ben Carson High School here now. So now our participating school is, they changed the name. There was actually protests that people weren't so happy about them changing the name. I forget the name of this famous nurse or something that the high school was called, but in the last year after the presidential elections, they changed the name of the high school to Ben Carson High School. So one of our participating schools, here's the coach now at Ben Carson, teaching students from Ben Carson High School here in Detroit. So that's kind of cool. Think of the stories, the names on the wall. We got a good location right here at the museum, and people gave a lot of money. Obviously Ford, Kresge, Kellogg, Knight, Davidson, Erb, Weber, Mott, McGregor, Shop, Quicken Loans. So just think of the story, the names on the wall, what they did to build up their wealth. So these names are always overshadowing me as I play and coach here. And you think I've actually met a lot of these people or their descendants. Here you got Alfred Taubman, famous name, passed away from Bialystok originally. Manoogian. So you got $50 million or more has been given by Manoogian. Their descendant now is my parents' congresswoman. So these names always overshadowing me, and it's something to think about. But there's some kind of random ramblings. All these kids are getting to the point where they could give me a good game. Like, like I put myself on chess.com, get myself up to like expert play at 3 minute. So we got quite a few players here that are Class B, Class A players, which is pretty good. So that's pretty strong players. So they start beating me occasionally, although, so I wanted to get my game back up. But chess is basically infinite, so it's the type thing, the top players really studying chess as their full-time job. Yeah, Babs, I was mentioning, the Rosenthal, because obviously Leona Helmsley, I was joking that Leona Helmsley is your great aunt or something, because I know Leona Helmsley was originally Leona Rosenthal, and my Rabbi Balkany had actually been part of the team that helped get Leona Rosenthal Helmsley out of prison. She was a relative to you, and she famously left the majority of money to dogs. The girl there was in South Korea, speaks South Korean. The old days where people learn like French or Spanish, so now people learn like South Korean, Chinese. So interesting. You can see the change in demographics, that the kids here in Detroit learn Chinese and this is what I do every Friday. Sabbath is getting later, so you're more active. State championships are coming up. We had the teams championships, and we swept the teams. State teams won all three: high school, junior high, elementary. Even though there's a few players that are better than the top players from here, as a team effort, we have the top teams. Hey, Dominic. Chess, I was a troubled kid. When I was younger, I was mostly a troubled kid. Even in high school, like elementary school, some people thought I was smart, a genius. I was very good on IQ tests, but I was troubled. Some teachers thought I was retarded. And, chess really turns some people around, gives them a venue. And even if a person has a lot of talent. So, just some ramblings. I was talking, Church of Entropy, I've enjoyed doing the meta-analysis on personality types, and from the YouTube streams, just the type personalities that appear on YouTube streaming. And there's personality types that come out on the chessboard also, that you could be very shy or introverted, but your personality will come out on the chess board, and people might be introverted or extroverted or different forms of introversion. There's certain reality to the personality of the person that comes out in the way they play chess. So I guess that's about it. I just thought I'd pop on and do some ramblings. I played like hours every day this week on chess.com, like 1,000 games almost. And I enjoyed it. Time is so short. When you see, like, to be really good at chess, you got to dedicate a lot of time to it, hours and hours, and study and opening preparation. And my father actually has a huge library of chess books. So I donated all my chess books to the club here, and so that's something I'm not going to have time to do. I just studied enough chess. I wanted to get back on the server to make sure I was competitive for coaching. They get stay like one step ahead of these players. Like that kid here in the center, he's at the point where he could almost beat me. Class B, Class A players. So I had to prep my game, get back on, and make sure that I was able to be a good coach. And think I'm relatively 1900, 2000. I taught a lot of these kids. A lot of them moved on to have more superior coaching or training, but my strength is good enough to, thank God, to, the coach there in the corner I've been working with is, this club here is more social. So because it's in the museum and it's open and people play, it's at the end of the week, Friday, the end of the school week, there's more goofing off. And I'm not a disciplinarian. Coach sometimes like you'll yell at the kids and make them more serious, but I don't have it in me to be a disciplined people and kind of like yell at people and make sure they're serious. So I just let them run wild, and I'm pretty merciful. Like when I was young, my favorite movie was one of them was Boys Town, No Such Thing as a Bad Boy, and like the ability to give back, have a positive influence. And so not much going on. Just thought I'd ramble a little bit, clarify some of my thoughts, and say that a lot of times when I'm talking with people at conversations, I'm actually thinking about thinking, and there's a certain style of chess thought that is very useful for understanding thinking processes. So I guess that's about it. Sabbath is coming. I'm about to head home. Take care.